Hello everybody and welcome into my latest live video. And if my video will go out, there it is. My name is Gary Holzman. Today it is Saturday. It is the 3rd of June 2023. Welcome in everybody. We're continuing on from where we left off yesterday. I was so excited at how easily everything went together and how ahead of schedule I was that I completely forgot that we were putting a side panel into this case. So I had to get something to eat, and then I just had to settle down for the day. So I have pretty much left this untouched on the counter here since the way we left it yesterday. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to put this monitor in, which should be super easy. I will do this little bit of cable management a bit later because we have another one of these exactly the same to build. However, it's going into the white version of this case. Otherwise, it'll be the same build. We still have to prep the motherboard. It's the same CPU, same RAM. I am going to be using the fanxiang 2 terabyte Gen 4 NVMe drives in both units. But right now, I am using the drives right now on the RAID controller card because I'm trying to sort out where the speed issue is that I'm having, and I'm working with the folks at High Point support with that project. My goal, however, is to put the 4 Gen 3 drives back in that are 4 terabytes each and utilize that on the computer in the back room that Camera Girl uses to create these amazing thumbnails that you're seeing here, as well as doing correspondence and everything she does for me to help with the burden here at the channel as things get bigger, things get more popular, get busier. And I just hate ignoring people. And at the same time, every time I respond to somebody, they always respond back. It's just like, is this conversation ever going to end? So I just stopped responding to people because never would people stop responding back. And then if they responded back with something, then I'd respond back because I responded, that they would respond. And I'm going around in circles with one individual that keeps pulling me back. So Camera Girl's been helping a lot with that, and she's not so distracted with other things going on that she can write out a more thoughtful message rather than my, slam on the keyboard, get to the point, and send it. It's pretty, all the niceties and formalities are out. I'm just trying to get it done. And anyway, so I got the 4 fanxiang drives in there, but I ordered 2 more yesterday, thanks to the contributions that came in during yesterday's show. I went ahead and bought 2 more of those. And one, instead of pulling the two of the 4 out of the High Point controller, because I'm not done with it, what we're going to do today is use a temporary drive in both of these. And then off camera, I'm just going to swap the drives for the fanxiangs because I want to see how they are in the real world over time, performance, reliability, etc. So other than that, the build is identical. This Friday, the cube build, the build I've been trying to get done now for a couple of weeks, will get started this Friday. Mitch, our good friend, Mitch Morrison, will join us and help us build this cube computer that nobody on YouTube has ever done. So we'll be the first ones to do that. I want to thank the viewer who wrote in to the comments when I was explaining my frustration that yesterday I didn't know if I was going to finish this build or review the latest TP-Link Wi-Fi 7 router. It was supposed to be released March 15th. Amazon put them on pre-sale in May, and they said they would ship on June 1st. So I pre-ordered it at $599, and it said, okay, you'll get it June 2nd. June 1st came around, and I got an email from Amazon that said, your order's been delayed. Your new delivery time is expected to be July 29th. So like something fishy's going on there. When I was looking to see when it was going to be released, I noticed Best Buy had it listed on their website, but I never buy anything from Best Buy. So I just thought I'd rather get it from Amazon for the return policy and everything. Figured if Best Buy's got it, Amazon can't be far behind. Then a viewer left a comment saying, Best Buy has those in stock, right? I went, oh yeah, that's right. They did last time. So I immediately went to bestbuy.com, saw they did in fact have the TP-Link Wi-Fi 7 router in stock, the BE800, for the same price Amazon wants. So I ordered it online. They have free delivery, just like Amazon. I'll have it here tomorrow. Canceled my Amazon order. So coming up in the days and weeks ahead, I've got some network switches I want to explain to you what the pros and cons are and give you some examples of how they might be used. I have I've got some network, let's just say network related items, including the Wi-Fi 7 router, a VoIP phone to show you how all that works together, and power over Ethernet, and give you an example of how the home stuff differs from the business stuff, but how you might want some of this business stuff in your home, because it's when you're buying it off lease or businesses have upgraded, you can get this stuff super inexpensive. I picked up like a 10 to 24 port gigabit switch, which is a pretty small switch, for $19 used on eBay. It's a switch. It has no moving parts. We're going to go through some networking stuff. Maybe not day after day after day, but I'm going to be peppering that in. I've got some equipment from Ingenious. They make a lot of business class Wi-Fi devices, access points, bridges, etc. So we'll go over what some of that is and why and where you would use it. I've also got, as I mentioned, the Cube build, and our friend Gary Tatum in the chat sent in a motherboard and processor he didn't want anymore. And so we'll have this build. Gary, I don't know if you have anything in particular you want this computer assigned to, but it's a pretty nice system. He's given us the box, Z690 UDAX DDR4 gigabyte motherboard. He's got it in the anti-static bag with a chip sitting in here that says it's what? Don't know. We also have Wi-Fi antennas, SATA cables, screws he should have kept because that's probably for his case. Got some temperature sensors. We got some kind of a card here that does something. This appears to be an M2 extension to add 2 more M2 drives to the motherboard. It's a nice board. This was a top of the line board just about, what, 2 years ago? Maybe 3 years ago? And it just so happens, I think I have everything else I need as far as a cooler and RAM. Oh, there's a standoff missing, I think. Maybe not. We'll have to see it, because that's, you see, that's this heatsink is sitting on an angle. It's sitting like this. Normally that implies a heatsink's missing there, or a standoff, but we'll take a closer look at that later. And this is an Intel i9 9900K CPU, which was a top-of-the-line CPU about 3 years ago. And plenty of people are doing i9 CPUs, and will likely have systems at least for the next 5 or 6 years with an i9. So it's not quite new, but pretty close to being new. It looks like it's in great shape and was well maintained. And so we'll figure out something to do with this. We'll build it, and then we'll figure out what to do with it. My thanks to Gary Tatum for thinking of us when he was upgrading. He didn't want these parts and didn't need these parts, and offered to send them so I can use them for channel content. So there we go. My thanks to Gary Tatum, of course. Let's just set this over here for a moment. And, oh, of course, I'm going to be getting a delivery right as I start the show, right? Bear with me for just 1 second, and I'm going to go check the front door here. I am expecting a package today, so I just don't want it to sit outside. Hang in there for just a second, guys. Yeah, that's exactly what we got. It's from Amazon. Let me just set that over here. I'll deal with that after the show. lot of irons in the fire for projects coming up and perhaps other giveaways as well. So stay subscribed, be a part of the community. When we do giveaways, when people in the community that I recognize that are participating are ones nominating themselves, I will sooner pick a person that I recognize as a regular member, not necessarily a paying member, not necessarily a moderator, but somebody who I see in the chat room regularly, being kind and supportive. If those people nominate themselves, they get a higher priority of being selected. So the people that just pop in to win something and leave, they're not high on my priority list because I'm trying to reward the community and build the community, if you understand. And that's why this is not a contest, but rather just a giveaway. So it's at my discretion. And the whole point of it is that I don't want to get taken advantage of, and I don't want to mislead or dangle a carrot in front of people. So I want to make sure that people are here for the right reasons, get rewarded, get recognized, and certainly would love to hear back from them with regards to anything they receive from the channel about what they think of it, what they like or don't like about it. And that's the whole point of the community. It's not for me to give stuff out at my expense and then just slowly go out of business. So, in the meantime, those aren't the only people who will win, who will be selected in the giveaways. But if they are in the giveaways and they haven't won anything before or haven't received anything before, those folks go to the top of the list. Do you want to go to the top of the list? Participate in the chat room, become a regular. Let me start to recognize you. We want to see you in here. And you will be rewarded in time. All right, let's see. My resolution on this screen is all screwy. Back to advanced, high quality. There we go. Paul Garrett says, my new 13700KF system is amazing. It stomps my old 9900KS. Yeah, I'm sure it does. You're 4 generations ahead. Now this machine right over here, this is a 9900KS, and I'm very happy with it. We're using 1.6% of our CPU processing power to do this live stream, so it's going to be good for a while. Michael Dane says, hey, that power supply that Kerry sent me is still running strong. Wonderful. I had to send Michael too. The first one I sent him was a unit sent to me that I had no means to test. It was a big high amperage power supply. And I sent it to Michael. He plugged it in and the thing basically blew up, and he was quite worried it might have taken out his computer equipment, his motherboard, things that the power supply was plugged into. That's crucial feedback for me to get because, well, long story short, you're not going to see that manufacturer a power supply back here anytime soon. And then I felt really bad for him, so I ended up buying him a new power supply on Amazon and having it shipped directly to him. Because Amazon has free shipping, it's cheaper for me to do that than for me to take one of my power supplies and ship it to him. It'll cost me $50 or $60. I'd rather spend, $100, $120 on a new high-end power supply and ship it directly to him, free shipping. And then Amazon always takes a picture when it's delivered, so I get a picture that it shows it was delivered and everything's cool. And yeah, sometimes it's cheaper for me to order things on Amazon and have it shipped directly to the viewer, depending on what it is. And it's a crazy world we live in because Amazon's getting the shipping at a bargain rate. I, on the other hand, I'm paying upwards of $50 to send a box about that big. But of course, I've got to buy the box, and I've got to pay the packing, and I've got to pay for the insurance on the package. And then I got to, drive it over there to the store to mail it, wait in line, get a copy of the receipt, scan the receipt, send the recipient a copy of the receipt and the tracking information so they know when to expect it. It's a big hassle compared to just going click, 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 and it's done. Jim KJ3N said he's still waiting on his 2.5 gig switch and a 2.5 gig network card. Should be coming by the end of the day today. Exciting times. Somebody's getting an upgrade to their network. Oh, I got a new notification. It says live Windows training. Doug Betts and their viewers have just joined. Say hello. Well, if you just came over from Doug Betts, live Windows training with Doug Betts YouTube channel. Welcome in, guys. Good to see you. Robert Hooper with $4.99 in Super Chat. Thank you, Robert. He says, I enjoy your videos and I love the knowledge on PCs. Well, thank you. That's all I'm here trying to do. I appreciate that, that you get it. Not everybody gets it. That guy gets it. Thank you. Bradley Ramey says it's 84 degrees in Wisconsin today. Could be a long show today. And I just want to I'm not missing anything here. Nick Poverman said he's got an i7-9700K that's still going strong. One of my clients has an office of computer upgrades that I did a few years ago. And those computers are all 9700Ks. I think they have 8 or 10 of them. Another client, I think they have about 4 or 6. So there's a lot of 9700Ks in the businesses that I manage. And yeah, no problems. Bob R said that Silverstone TS16 tool-free NVMe USB dock you sent has been used several times. Thanks, Gary. Glad you're getting some use out of it, Bob. It's my favorite tool. I love that tool. Maybe we'll do another giveaway with Silverstone. They make a lot of PC accessories. Not another TS16 giveaway, but maybe a different enclosure, or I don't know. I'm talking with them to see what they want to do, and what ideas they have, and just more irons in the fire for upcoming stuff. Arnold wants to know if DDR4 going to DDR5 is a noticeable difference. Depends on how you use your computer and what you use your computer for. Some people will not notice any difference, and some people will. The only way you will notice a difference is based on the hardware you have, how you measure or feel the difference, what you're using the computer for. It's not the same answer for everybody. Unfortunately, that's something you will have to just try and tell us. We can't tell you that. I can't tell you if you're going to enjoy the flavor of something. I don't even know you. You'll have to taste it. But when you do, feel free to let us know what your thoughts are. And remember, your thoughts are yours. They don't apply to anybody else. Just because you do or you don't see any difference, please don't go around the internet spouting that information off as though it would apply to anybody else other than you. But feel free to say, hey, I was curious, I did it, and these were my results. No harm in that. But please don't advise people what they should do, because they aren't you and they have different taste, different requirements, different expectations. Rick Lakes contributes $10 in Super Chat. Hey, Rick, thank you for that. Live Windows training with Doug Betts says, Carrie, I'm really looking forward to Mara's switch configuration demo. Yeah, me too. I've never worked with a managed switch, let alone one of this caliber. And there's some debate as to whether or not it's really a gigabit switch and really delivers power over Ethernet. And we're going to save all that for showtime. And hopefully we'll get to that next week or the week after. But that'll be a new experience for me as well. And I also want to hook up a VoIP phone and set up a phone number right over a power over Ethernet switch, maybe even that Cisco switch. I'm not sure if we can do it with this. Cisco has their own VoIP standard. We want to do SIP protocol, and maybe it does. I don't know, but that'll be more about when we get into networking, and we'll set up like a free asterisk server online in the cloud. You can get it for a few months free. Network Chuck did a whole video on it. I'll just follow Network Chuck's video to set it up. And we'll set up a little phone here on the desk and have people call it. And we don't want it anymore. Just unplug it. Won't cost anything. But it'll show you sort of the scale of business and how, you can transfer calls from one phone to another. So you can travel around and still have your business phone ring no matter where you go. Some pretty cool stuff, and I'm looking forward to just touching on it. I'm not going to dive into it too deep. I just want to relay the concept and the purpose. And then if that intrigues any of you, you can certainly find other YouTube channels here where you can dive into that in far more detail. My goal here is just to make the introduction and explain the concepts. And if you wish to pursue further deeper knowledge in any of the subjects I bring up, Google is your friend. There's a lot of other YouTube content creators that specialize in certain niches with regards to everything from programming and software development to network design and servers and containers and Kubernetes. All this stuff is all out there. So yeah, it's going to mix it up a little bit for me because it's something I'm just not, I know the concept of it, but I've never done it before. So yeah. Thomas Tidwell with an $11 super chat contribution. Thank you, Thomas. Michael Dane said he's got a 10th gen 10700 CPU that's still going strong with a 6950 XT video card. Right on, right on. Ron Stewart said the only thing you did wrong was say hi. I always said it when you came on. I was being nice. I thought we were cool. No offense. What? I don't understand. Michael Eady says hello from Wilson, New York. Welcome in, Michael. Robert Hooper says it is 75 degrees Fahrenheit here in upstate New York. Done. Sounds like a lovely day. Mike Mann says, contributes rather, $12 in super chat. He says, this is my late fee for arriving late. Your videos always teach me important lessons on computer hardware and software. Well, thank you. Thank you for supporting the channel. What model is the Wi-Fi 7 router you're going to buy? I've already bought it. It's the TP-Link BE800. And apparently in stock at Best Buy. I hadn't seen I hadn't seen any YouTube review videos on this router yet, so I want to get it quickly and do the review soon so I can be one of the first. All the videos I'm seeing on it are either people talking about, you know, reading about it, or the company themselves making a promotional video, making a commercial for it. But I've not seen any content creators actually do a proper review, so I want to jump on that before the whole thing becomes, you know, before YouTube becomes saturated with a bunch of the same content. At least I can lead the way, let others follow. Ron says, I said hi yesterday. You didn't, or any other time. That's what I'm talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. Generally, there's over 300 to 600 people in these live videos. I'm not speaking to any of you specifically unless I say your name, and it would be impossible for me to acknowledge everybody. It'd be like going to a concert and getting upset that the singer didn't mention your name or wave back when you waved into a big crowd of people. So I don't know if you're joking right now, but if you want that kind of attention, then I would suggest to join me on the members only videos. That's where we do more of that, more intimate one-on-one discussion. This is a big classroom situation. So you're in a sea of a lot of people right now. So, and I cannot get to everybody. I'm just kind of scrolling through these as I see them, and I just happened to see yours. I'm not specifically searching yours out. Peter Laycock, there's our friend Buster in Scotland with a 10-pound contribution in Super Chat. Says, good evening, Carrie and Maralina and everyone in the chat from Bonnie, Scotland, where the temperature in Edinburgh is 53 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 12 degrees Celsius. Welcome in, Buster. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. John Inglis with a 2-pound contribution said, here's a small donation. Thank you, John. Thanks for supporting the channel. And Verusian Galustian with a $2 contribution. Varusian. I'm sure I have butchered your name 3 different ways, and none of them are probably correct, but I thank you. Thank you for the contribution. Now, getting to this build. When we finish this build up, you know, I spent the next couple hours afterwards just hanging out and talking with you guys because I enjoy doing that. The monitor, this is something I've never done in a computer before. I don't have any experience with it. There's no particular standard on how this is done. The company kind of makes it up, and my appreciation to the commenter who mentioned that these were available. I think I got the last 2. So one will go in the white build and one is going to go in this black build. I hope they fit. They should be super easy to install. I've never done this before. So let's see what it's like. Open this up. And what we have is a very thin 13.3-inch screen, which I'll set over here. And we have some mounting rails, I guess is what that is. We have some sticky tape. Yes. We have the cable. This is a proprietary cable that only works with certain ASRock motherboards and this monitor. These motherboards just so happen to have the connector. Let's try it out. And what else do we have? Oh, these little sticky things here, which I think you mount the sticky things to the glass on your case. And then the rail mounts onto the other end. And then I think the monitor slides in between the rails. I think that's how it's going to work. Looks pretty straightforward. We don't get much in the way of directions here. You could put the monitor vertical or horizontal. It's your choice. I don't want to cover too much of the RGB up, so I think what I'll do, let's see here. Let's take a look at what this is going to look like and a picture it first before we do anything permanent with sticky tape. Paul O'Brien with a €5 contribution. He says, I enjoy your live streams. They're education as always. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Paul. Thanks for supporting the channel. Let me step around so I can take a look at what we're thinking of doing here. And I'll go ahead and pull this cable because I don't need anything tying us down. There's not really much to see, more or less from the bottom to about here. Because above this is where, you know, if you have RGB RAM, you're going to see that. There is some RGB below the motherboard right about here towards the back, but it's very subtle. I'm not worried about covering that up. I wouldn't want to put the monitor too high and then it would block, you know, seeing the fan turning, and I'd like to be able to see that. So let me pull the screen off here. And let's take a look. Just set that here. No, this isn't precarious at all. Okay, so here's our screen. Hey, Wilhelm Gordon with a $19.99 super chat. Thank you, Wilhelm. What I'm thinking is we put the screen in. Oh boy. I think we put the screen somewhere like, I don't know, down on the bottom here maybe. And so when we put this in, It'd kind of look like something like that. So then the screen would be down here. What do you guys think? I think that's the way to do it. We could move the screen closer to the front, but then that's going to sort of block the RGB on those fans on the inside. Or we could kind of center it if we wanted to center it. Maybe centering it would be ideal. Let's see what it would look like. We put it in the middle. Yeah, maybe in the middle is where we want it. So I think what I'm going to have to do this is clear some space on my bench so I can lay the glass panel down. This was on like, oh. Like that. I think it was like that. One side has a little ridge on it. And then right there is where our connector goes. And that's going to provide the video cable signal and power. So let's move this out of the way. Let's move this out of the way. Here. And let's see. Lay the glass panel down here like this. And just want to know the orientation of these rails. Eugene says hello. Hey, Eugene, welcome in. Please make sure your PC case contains a transparent tempered glass side panel. Gee, you think? What does it say to do? Attention, 2 brackets are now clung to the panel. Beware of dropping the panel when you remove them. Yeah. Take out the 2 mounting brackets and 2 retaining rubber strips from the box. Both are required for either the vertical or horizontal display. Oh, so the rubber goes on the opposite side of the brackets. So the brackets go on the long side, and then the rubber retaining strips, those go on the short sides of the monitor. Paste. Oh, wait. Take 1 bracket, peel the blue plastic liner off. Do not touch the adhesive surface. Do not peel off the black strip behind the blue plastic liner. The black strip allows you to easily remove the bracket. Oh. Place the bracket at the desired location on the inside of the PC panel. Press and hold the bracket for a few seconds to ensure adhesion. Be sure to leave enough space above, allowing the EDP panel to be placed. Okay? Then install the other bracket on the top edge of the panel. Make sure the screen is facing the same side as the sticker. And peel the blue plastic liner off. Hold the sides of the panel. Obliquely insert it into the groove at the bottom of the bracket, then carefully push it towards the glass until the top bracket is adhesed. If you install them correctly, from the screen side, the silver mylar at the bottom of the EDP panel will be fully covered by the bracket. Okay? Then it wants us to paste the rubber strips paste the rubber strips closely along the edges of the EDP panel so that it is securely framed and won't shift or slide. Attention, do not paste the rubber strip onto the black strip at the bracket end, so you can grasp and stretch the black strip to easily remove the bracket when needed. Okay. Well, it's all just stickers. I think I can handle stickers. Does it explain to us which side is up on this thing? Which side is down? Let's see. We put this in towards the bottom. That's the top. Which side of the screen is the top side? Something like that, I think. Let's take a look here and see. Go in 3 inches from that side. It's 3.5. This is up there. That's 3.5. That's pretty close to being right in the middle, I think. I don't know. This connector is supposed to be at the top or the bottom. I guess I could rotate the screen anyway, or I can flip the thing around. They don't really tell us which side of the monitor is the top, although the printing here, printing towards me, so I'm going to guess that connector stays at the bottom. So, peel off this. I'm going to go very lightly so I can make adjustments. Go. See, I think that's too far to one side. Pretty well it right there, I think. Very gently. I don't want to push it down yet in case I want to move it over 3.5 on that side. Under 3.5, so it's got to go this way. Come on now. Come on now. Barely pushed on it. Let's double check it. Oh, it's pretty much at 3.5 there. I think that's actually dead on. So now I can push down on this. Let me take the screen out. I don't want to do anything, damage the screen. And then aligning the top one should be super easy. I think that. Sure if they want me to put this in one direction or the other. And I can't tell if it can go either way. Is it ambidextrous? Because it's got a groove on each side. They don't seem to really identify what side is up. It shows the spare tape. We're on the left side, which is weird. Is it going in deeper the other side? Definitely isn't going to go that way. Yeah, I can't tell if it makes any difference to go one way or the other. Appears there's like a lip here. Guess we want that lip holding screen on. That would be my guess. Dan Nilsson with a 100 Swedish krona contribution in Super Chat. Thank you to Dan Nilsson. $328 of you watching right now. Welcome in, everybody. Now, in theory, I should just be able to peel the tape. Set this down. It should automatically be aligned like so. That monitor's not going anywhere. Takes care of that. And it wants me to put these rubber feet in on the left and the right. And the point of that is to keep the screen from sliding out as you move the computer around or tilt it. So the rubber feet here well, then what are these for? Doesn't tell me what this is in the instructions. It's not even part of the package contents. Package contents say I got 2 brackets, rubber strips, the panel, the cable, and the 5 cable clips. Please note the direction when you paste the bracket. Uh-oh. Put it in backwards. It's quite possible that they wanted these to go the other way. And the reason I think that is I think they don't want you covering up I don't think they want you covering up the basically it's going to leave a frame that might kind of cover the bottom of the picture. So I think these needed to go in exactly the opposite of how I put them, but they're on there really, really good. I don't really think it's that big of a deal one way or the other. Wait, it's really hard for me to tell. Because I would think you'd want the deeper side to hold the screen in stronger. If you install them correctly from the screen side, the silver mylar at the bottom of the panel will be fully covered by the bracket. If you install them correctly, the silver mylar, this stuff right down here, will be fully covered. Well, that's why I did it that way. All right, I think I did it right, but the instructions, the way I'm looking at them, looks like it wants me to turn them around the other way, so the shallow end faces the top. The way that they've done this diagram is backwards because they show the sticky side on the left, but then they show the thing going on to the right. So I don't know how to rotate that in my head. All right, well, let's keep moving. I still don't know what these are for. Cable and our rubber feet here. So let's put the rubber feet on next. Now in the directions, it shows the little black tabs being on the same side. But in order for me to do that, one of these brackets would have to be the other way, and I'm not sure which way that's supposed to be. But it looks like they want me to put it in sort of like that once the screen's in there, and that'll lock the screen in. Create kind of a frame here. Then we just cable it up, and I think we're done. I mean, it's just, I'm probably obsessing over something that doesn't really matter, but if there's a reason they have to be installed 180 degrees, I guess I'm going to find out when I turn it on. These instructions are not very clear on that. We have a super teeny tiny connector here on one end that goes to the back of the monitor. And I like that they give us a lot of cable because obviously it's going to leash your side panel onto the side of your case. When you get in there, you need to have enough slack to get the side panel out of your way. So that looks like they've done a good job there. Yeah, it's showing the bottom one going the other way around than the way I have it. Huh. According to this, I've got the top one in correctly, and the bottom one is in upside down. And of course, that was the hard one to place. And now it's never going to come off of there. Well, you know what? Let's just see what it looks like. I don't know. Slide this back in here. Oh, I guess we can peel this cover off. That's silver. That's the bottom of the screen where that tape is. And it looks like it's going to cover the tape up, which is really what they told us they wanted to do. But it shows these little pull tabs both being on my left side. Got a pull tab here on the left on the top. When you put these rubber bumpers, if you will, in, they don't want you putting these over those pull tabs. You want those pull tabs to stick out. So lift it up and place a little rubber stopper. And you want to be gentle. Don't push down hard on it because it's going to adhese once you do, until you know you've got it lined up right. Looks right to me. And then we do the same thing on the other side. Like so. Lift up this tab. Set this down gently. We want to make sure we get all the way to the bottom of the panel. As far up against the screen as we can get it. All the way to the top. Okay. Our screen is installed. We take the short end of this cable. I think it wants to go on in this direction. And we close that down, that locks that cable on. And the other end is going to plug into that connector on our motherboard. They just don't explain what this is. I don't know what this is for. Oh, okay. So these are shorter brackets if you wanted to mount this vertically. So this appears to be some kind of a vertical kit. And then this piece right here looks like extra sticky tape as far as I can tell. Okay. Well, in theory, it should work. Let me put the case back up the table. We'll hook this up and see what she does. I'm going really slow for something that's a 5-minute job because I'm just not certain of orientation and centering it and how it's going to look and whether or not it's right side up or the brackets are right side up. It's a lot of inexact science there. Now on the motherboard, right here is our connector. Looks like connector goes, don't see a way up. Once again, I don't know which way is straight. There's a little door here that's got to open, I'm sure. Does it not open? No. Now it looks like it just pushes up in there. We take this piece. We'll have to figure out a way to kind of keep the cable bunched up behind the screen so you don't see it. All right, well, that wasn't nerve-wracking. All right, so let's grab the power cable here and slide that on. Keyboard and mouse are still plugged in from yesterday. We can grab the internet cable here and plug that in. And I need an HDMI cable to the capture card. And we'll flip the switch to on, hit the power button. Gonna have to clean this. I got my fingerprints all over it. And in theory, we should see something down here. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I mean, if I put those brackets on backwards in any way, I can't tell. And I suspect this is just mirroring our desktop right now. Kind of thinking, I mean, I don't know how this is in practicality, but if the screen were moved all the way to the edge here, I think we'd be able to see these fans a little better. I just don't know. You know, there's a part of me that wants to center it, right? Which is why I centered it. But now that I'm looking at it, I really just see the two top fans from the inside. So maybe when we do the white one, we'll put it right into the corner. I don't know. What do you think? And then what we can put here, if you wanted to, would be like our resource monitor. We can hit Control-Alt-Delete, go to the task manager, bring up the resource monitor, move it over here to screen number 2, and let that show our CPU, RAM, disk, and network usage on here. No special software is needed. If you don't want to, just run that. But this is just mirroring right now what the HDMI cable is putting out to the capture card. So we got 2 monitors showing the same screen right now. That is really super easy. 3 of you say it looks good in the, no, 2 of you say it looks good in the center. 3 of you say it looks good in the center. 1 says it looks good in the corner. Mark thinks it looks good in the center. Yeah, I don't know. Part of me thinks I should have moved it to the left. Only because, not that there's anything to see over here anyway. It's just that one RGB fan. But you can see that smoke screen. You can see through that, no problem. It's not really affecting our ability to see the screen or the brightness. Does it show up as a second screen in Windows? Yes. Yeah, it's exactly what it shows up as. So if we bring up this desktop, we can go take a look at that and we can change how we utilize it. So if I come over here to, let me go to OBS. Let's turn on HDMI input. Let me take myself and put myself in a corner. So, and let's see, let me go full screen on the HDMI input for me on this side of the camera so I can see the mouse. Let's go to right click, display settings. Yeah, monitors 1 and 2. It's on duplicate. Let's extend these displays. And then let's hit Control-Alt-Delete. Where did my picture go? Is it asking me on this screen in here? Is that why I can't see it? Yeah, that's what happened. So my menu came up over here. Let me go to Task Manager. And let me move this to screen 1. Oops. I want to duplicate, I want to extend. Okay. Keep these settings. Yes, I want to keep these settings. And what I want to do, essentially, drag that back over. Close that down. And bring up my performance. Go to the resource monitor. Everything's opening on the other screen. That's fine. That's where I wanted it to go anyway. And have it look like that. And so while I'm using the computer, I can see my resources at a moment's glance. And it's, you know, the full screen of screen 1 is monitor 1 is available to me to use as I normally would. And I can glance over here and see what's going on with all my usage information. And then I don't have to run overlay software or anything like that that can interfere with my picture. Carlos thinks that's the correct position for that monitor. Doman says he's not seeing this as being very practical. Well, if you had your computer on your desk, right, it's difficult for me to show it to you because if I'm showing it to you, I can't see it. But when you're using your computer, you're not showing it to anybody like I am. So if you had this computer on your desk and you had it off to the right or to your, you know, it would have to be on your right side, then you could have this at an easy glance for you. Now, whether or not that's something you would benefit from, I mean, it's sort of like saying, I don't eat asparagus, so I don't understand why it's being sold. Because it doesn't fit your particular use case scenario, doesn't mean nobody can. So maybe for you, it's a complete waste of time and money for you. But for somebody else, it may be something that benefits them in productivity, such as video editors and things of that nature. Or it may just be a fun little thing to do as a project, or even as a gamer to have information off to the side. Or if you wanted to take this computer without a monitor and just take it somewhere and plug it in with a keyboard and mouse, you wouldn't have to drag along a monitor. You could just run off the internal monitor. And again, whether or not that's practical depends on what you need the computer to do. So Peter Lightcock says he thinks that putting it in the middle is the right place. Okay, well, you've convinced me. Kevin Smith says it'd be handy. It means I'd have one main monitor on my desk and use the PC as the second monitor. Well, not only that, you could hook up additional monitors as well, traditional monitors. This isn't taking away any of your ports in the back. So, but that's how that looks. And yeah, now we can start building on the white one. This one is done except for the cable management, which is very, very little that I have to do here on the back. And the back panel goes on. I stick a date of I put a sticker that has the month and the year I built it up in the corner so that when years go by and the customer says to me, hey, do you remember when we built this? I don't know, was it 6 months ago? Oh no, it was 3 years ago. You know, having the date on there is one final step I'll take. And then I'll put the instructions. These are just cable clips is all these are. So you can stick these in your case if you want to hold your spare cable. And I might revisit that when I do the cable management, just to make sure that the cable stays out of the way. And then the extra brackets, that'll all go into the motherboard box and will go with the customer. So I can shut this one down. So we'll go to start and then shut down. There we go. And then in just a minute, we should see the lights turn off. I think I did a restart instead of a shutdown. Whoopsie. That's exactly what I did. You do that again. It's difficult to work on a screen as small as what I have to see when I'm live with you guys. Bear with me here just a second. You go to start. Come on now, where is it? Okay, shut down. That should shut her down. There it goes, now it's off. All right, now that is an ASRock proprietary connector that only goes on to certain ASRock motherboards that have that connector. You can't just put that on any motherboard, and you can't just put it on any ASRock motherboard. It has to be that ASRock screen. No other screen will work. And it has to be on a compatible ASRock motherboard, which I think they only got about 4 motherboards, maybe 6 that have that connector. If that's something you want, be sure you buy the right motherboard that supports it. This is nothing new. They came out with this a few months ago. I'm hoping the reason Newegg is sold out isn't because they stopped making it because it didn't sell well. I mean, this is a Z790 motherboard, which is a current version of motherboard. And I'm just assuming that they ran out of inventory and they will stock them again. Okay, but that's all there is to it. It's very simple to install that, as I figured it would be. And yeah, with that, let me get this off the bench and let's start building the white one. As I mentioned, I do want to pull the storage drive I'm using in this to replace with the fanxiang, and I'll have 2 of those arriving tomorrow. Oh, this thing got a little heavier. That glass, some weight to it. All right, so we're going to prep the motherboard first, of course. Let's see, these are the cables that go with this, and this will go with this. Keep all this together. I don't want to mix the parts for the 2 builds. Okay, here we go. Here's our new parts. So I've got a Crucial P5 M.2 drive. I don't know if it's Gen 3, Gen 4. I just need a placeholder, you know, until those fanxiang drives arrive tomorrow. I could take 2 of those fanxiang drives out of the RAID controller. They got to take all the screws, you know, 6 screws out, undo them, and then tomorrow when the 2 new ones come in, put them right back in there again. It just makes more sense for me to leave the RAID controller alone. And when the 2 come in tomorrow, the 2 NVMe's, I'll just pull the heat sinks off and pop them in there. So there's our Vulcan DDR5 RAM. There's our Core i5-13500 processor. We picked that up for $209. They're normally $247. Amazon had them for $209 for what, about a week or 2? I let you guys know. They're not 209 anymore. They're back to 247. So I picked up 3, which is as many as they would let me buy. So we've got one going in each of the LiveMixer builds, and then the third one will go into the Cube build that needs a micro ATX board, and we'll just use DDR4 on that one because I just want it to be a much less expensive build, obviously. You can start adding up the dollars in your heads to understand exactly how much has been spent for me to make the 3 videos that you're going to see here. Actually, I guess it's 3 videos will be total on the LiveMixer, and then the Cube build will be another 1 video. So those videos are going to set me back about somewhere around $4,000. Imagine if you made a build every day, an average cost of parts of $1,000 per video. Let's say you do 3 videos a week. That's $12,000 you're spending every month. Adds up, man. All right, so there's our CPU. That's why I'm not doing as many builds. They're very expensive and they're very labor intensive. And usually when people are buying a computer from me, they're not paying me for any labor. They're just paying me for the parts. And I'm not marking the parts up. So something I can't afford to do. Can't afford to sell the parts at cost and do the work for free and have it take 3 days from start to finish and be able to maintain that without going homeless. I take this piece out of the box because we want to reuse the box for holding documentation and whatnot. And I should still have the BIOS update on the flash drive because we know this will be likely out of, it'll have an older BIOS, an out-of-date BIOS like the other one did, probably. Hey, there's DJ Big Red with $9.99. He says, I can't wait to see the second one as well. Yeah, we're going to have a identical twin here, one black and one white. Thank you for your contribution, DJ Big Red. And then on DJ Big Red's PC repair, I'll make a follow-up video. That one's still not quite done yet. I've got some cable management still waiting to be done. But I will make a shorter follow-up video on what that looks like once it's all complete and ready to be delivered back. Kind of a big difference. Charlie likes the center as well. Okay, I guess I'm gonna have to just put this one on the center as well. That's what everybody seems to like, and I'm warming up to it now that I'm seeing it. I can leave that on there. Let's see here. Set that over there. Set that over there. All of our spare documentation and whatnot will go in here. I want to put all the M.2 screws in so they don't get lost. We got SATA cables, documentation. We've got a Go Faster sticker, some Velcro ties. Set this box over here, and I'll put the documentation like this Intel documentation. That'll go in there. So I suppose the first thing I want to do is to get these screws put in. Again, we have 5 of these really small M.2 screws. And let's see. Hope everybody's having a good Saturday today. This should be a pleasurable build as It was basically, it's going to be the same build as we did yesterday. The only difference is we did the motherboard prep in a different build. So this will be hopefully everything all in one. Motherboard prep and install. This screw, there's a what appears like an M.2 slot, but it's a Wi-Fi card slot. But it needs the same screw as the M.2s. We have 4 M.2 and then 1 for the M2 Wi-Fi for a total of 5 screws needed. And then underneath this heatsink are 2 more M.2 slots. That off. We're going to leave the tape on there because we're not putting anything in there today. And I put these in because these are the things the customers lose. So we just put them in here. So if and when the day comes that they want to put a drive in here, we're not trying to hunt down M.2 screws because they're not always the same, depending on the motherboard manufacturer. I do wish they just came pre-installed, but it's not a big deal. On average, it's about 3 days build time on most computers between motherboard prep, software install and updates and optimization and drivers and BIOS and configuration, along with installation into the case, the cable management, buying and activating Windows 10 or 11. All of this takes time. And then, of course, there's a few hours in getting it boxed up, loaded into the car, taken over to FedEx, waiting in line, getting it shipped, getting the receipt, scanning the receipt when I get home, creating an email, attaching the receipt to the email, and then creating a shortcut link so the customer doesn't have to enter that tracking number. So they just have to click the link, see the status of their package. And then finally the job is done. And that's just not something sustainable to do all of that labor for free. But I do it occasionally. Now, when I build computers for the clients I maintain, it's an investment for me because my clients are paying me a flat rate to manage their offices. And if their office computers are hokey or difficult to work on or unreliable, then I'm making less money since they're paying me a flat rate. So if I sell them a computer at cost or even less than cost to encourage them to buy my computer, then that means the retainer they put me on is more profitable for me since the computers I build are more reliable and very, very easy to work on. So for now, I'm going to take this crucial M.2 drive and I'm going to put it in here. I was trying to debate if I should go this way, but right now it doesn't matter. I'm going to just go ahead and put it here for now. It's just a placeholder, give us somewhere to install the OS and get everything tested and configured. And then when those fanxiang drives arrive tomorrow, I'll replace both of these with those. And then I'll probably do a clean install on both of them just to be safe, along with updates, make sure everything's activated. Then they'll be good to go. And that takes care of our 5 M.2 screws. Can't postpone my show waiting for parts to arrive, you know? I got to do the show. And if I got to substitute some parts for the show so the show can happen, then that's what I have to do. If I wasn't doing a show, then the customer would wait till the parts arrived, and I wouldn't do the work until the parts arrived. So there's a little bit different of a workflow for making the YouTube videos. I can put the CPU in now. Take that cover off of there. That will go in the motherboard box, because if you ever need to send this back under warranty, you absolutely have to take your RAM and CPU and M.2 drives out. You also need to take out your M2 screws. They will not return them to you. And then you need to cover all those delicate pins up with that cover, or they'll void your warranty. And yeah, you're going to be buying yourself a new board at your own expense. Kind of an important thing to hold on to. It's our CPU. Again, it's a 13500. These were $209. What a bargain. Okay. It's going to go in this way, the writing facing the bottom of the board. These modern 13th gen chips are quite a bit larger and heavier than like the 9th gen chips or the 8th gen chips. Those were like square, these are rectangular. They're a good 50% larger. All right, we're gonna pull down the lever and latch it. This goes in the motherboard box over there. We'll open up all the RAM sockets. Ready to do that. This is our stock cooler that came included with our CPU. That cardboard flap was really wedged under the heatsink. Here, hold that for me. Look at that, that was wedged in there. Thermal compound has already been applied by Intel. We want to straighten this cable out, and we want to orient this so that the cable is going to be facing the shortest distance to where it's plugging in, which is right over here. So the heatsink can be installed any of 4 different ways, but you really want it installed so your cable doesn't have to go around the fan, because that can interfere with the fan through moving the computer. And it also makes the cabling look terrible. So for aesthetics, we also run the cable as close as we can to the connector. We'll use a nylon zip tie to clean that up. We just set that down, make sure that these little plastic posts here align with the holes in the motherboard surrounding the CPU socket. And then you're going to pick a corner, any corner, push straight down, should lock in. Then go to your opposite corner and push straight down. It does take a bit of strength. You can push it straight down. Then pick one of the other 2 remaining. That one locked in. You should hear it click. Finally, there. And it's on. And yeah, that cooler keeps this chip cool even with Prime 95 after 20 minutes, as we've proven in the previous video. David Graham contributes $2. He says, will the monitor work with an APU and a GPU? Yes, it will. At the same time, yes, it will. Thank you for the question. Thank you for the contribution. Yeah, if you add a graphics card to this, you get those ports on that graphics card, plus the ports on the internal graphics card, plus this graphics card here. So in theory, you could probably have 6 or 7 monitors hooked up to this if you added an external graphics and kept the internal graphics card turned on. Yep. How many monitors do you want? 7 be enough? Ken wants to know, is the motherboard expensive? Links for all the parts are in the video description. I'd advise you to click on those links. I don't know where you live. I don't know if you're in a different country. I don't know what the current prices are. The rates vary depending on the exchange rate. And of course, I don't know what you think is expensive. These boards were at Newegg on sale. If you're asking me how much was the board, I can answer that question. The board was on sale for $199. Whether or not you think that's expensive, I can't tell you. And whether or not it's available at that price in your country, I don't know. And whether or not it's in stock right now and hasn't sold out, I do not know. But it was not in stock at Amazon. It was only available at Newegg. When I initially ordered it, I think it was $267. And hours after I ordered it, they dropped the price to $199. So I contacted Newegg customer service, and they gave me a $60 Amazon gift card. So what I decided to do was order another one at the $199 price with that $60 off. That made it, since I paid $267 or whatever it was for the first one, then I only had to pay the difference. So $199 minus that $60 gift card. And that's how I ended up with two of them. All right, A2 and B2. That's where our RAM modules are going. And that's it. Motherboard's done. Let's go ahead and get a power supply and a power switch on here. Let's fire it up and get Windows installed. Let's get the BIOS updated first, then Windows installed, assuming it fires up okay, which I'm sure it will. Yes, and plug it in here. I need a power supply. I'll just use this Silverstone power supply, but we will be installing an NZXT power supply. But we need a power supply that has two EPS 12-volt cables, CPU power. And I know that the NZXT power supply has two. I know the Silverstone 750 has two. So there's one. And there's the other one. And then our 24-pin power connector. That's going to go on right over here. And I think I left my key. Did I leave it? No. I was thinking I left this in the other computer. Good for me. I didn't pick it out. Put it back where it belongs. See? OCD. Putting stuff back where it belongs. We'll just plug that into any of these copious USB ports back here. That's a lot of I/O. And let's see, I need a power cable and an HDMI cable. So let's grab that. Power cable right here. Make sure the switch is in the off position on the power supply. HDMI cable just hanging out right there conveniently for us. Right there, since we're using onboard video integrated graphics on our chip. And then I need my Windows 11 install media, which is, no. I want my BIOS flash drive. And we'll just plug that in, I don't know, over here. Let's get this BIOS updated. Yeah, shall we? We shall. That looks good. Switch. And then we'll do myself in a corner here. Let's turn this bad boy on and see what happens. Fan is a spinning. Remember, on our very first boot, it has to train the RAM and the CPU for that matter. So your first boot could take up to 90 seconds. Charlie Beamer said I should nominate Carrie for an Emmy Award. This is by far more entertaining and educational than broadcast television. Well, thank you. I hope so. If this was on TV, I'd be watching TV right now. Oh, let me hit delete. Need to go into the BIOS. Let's see. All right, there's our BIOS. And let me get rid of camera one so we can see. We'll go full screen here. And let's do, we're at version 3.09, advanced mode, tool. Oh, there's an NVMe sanitation tool. Look at that. Instant flash. Suspend BitLocker. We're not using BitLocker. Continue, yes. 704, it finds the update on the flash drive. Update, yes. After pressing enter, the system's going to automatically reboot. Please wait for a few seconds and the BIOS will continue. Click OK. And we're going to leave this on full screen. I'm not touching anything at this point. I leave everything up to the computer. And we need to give this a couple minutes to do its job. Please do not disturb your computer doing your BIOS update. Even if you think something's wrong, be patient, because you can create a problem when you weren't having a problem, just because you weren't patient. So we just keep our hands off the keyboard, hands off the mouse, and give your system upwards of 10 minutes to finish this. Now, in most cases, it'll finish in 3 or 4 minutes, but in other cases, it could take up to 10. That's all normal. If it goes longer than 10 minutes and there's been no motion and nothing's been happening from the screen, maybe wait another 5. And if after 15 full minutes of no activity and it appears frozen, you have little choice but to shut it down. You should never find yourself in that position. If you're patient enough, the system will likely recover from whatever it's doing if you leave it alone. And in very, very unusual circumstances, there may be a time where the system freezes and you have no choice but to power it off. But if you power it off, it may never, ever come on again. So you've got to keep your fingers crossed when you power that off that it's going to come on when you turn it back on. Because if it doesn't, you're going to be sending your board back to the manufacturer for warranty repair. And your build is going to be postponed for a couple of weeks until you get a new board replaced or a board fixed, whichever they do. Bob R said that background should be wallpaper for Windows. I wonder if they offer it. Be kind of a cool wallpaper for the build, wouldn't it? I'm going to grab a cold Gatorade while we're watching the grass grow here. And yeah, let me come back over here, see what I'm missing over in the chat room. Let's clear up some of this mess behind you. Let's see. Does that board have BIOS flashback? I do not think so. BIOS flashback is typically something you see on really high-end boards. This is not a high-end board. Well, it is a Z790, which is the high-end chipset, if you will. BIOS flashback will typically be found on boards at the $400 and above price point. This is a $200 board. So as far as I know, it does not have BIOS flashback. I think BIOS flashback, that term is owned by ASUS. I think other manufacturers that have that ability have to call it something else. Bob R says, yes, the wallpaper is available. Well, there you go. There you go. You've answered your own question. So right now it says no signal. That's because the machine is rebooting, and it still may be updating the BIOS, or it may be finishing. It's hard to know until you see what happens. It looks like it's loading an operating system. Maybe I had an operating system on that flash drive I plugged in there. That's what it appears to be doing anyway. Yeah, apparently this was from another build. So I would have to do a clean install on it, but I think it's good enough for today, since that I'm going to reinstall Windows anyways. I don't need to do that now, and that can save us some time here in the video. I just want to make sure that we do have that latest BIOS installed. And so one way that I can do that, and also I want to reset BIOS defaults anyway. I want to go back into the BIOS. Now I know the BIOS is done. And we'll hit delete here. Let's take a look. Arnold says there are boards under $400 with BIOS flashback. Yes, there are, but you'll find I think there's a misunderstanding where people take words literally and they don't understand the concept of what I'm explaining. There's no way possible for me to tell you all exceptions all the time, or I'm going to spend an hour and a half answering one question. So I appreciate your understanding of comprehension. When you're buying a board at a certain price point, it is almost guaranteed to have BIOS flashback. And once you hit that $400 price point, almost universally, you're going to have it. That doesn't mean that's the only way you're going to get it. But if it's something you're looking for and you have nothing to go by, look at the price. Otherwise, you can study every single make and model from every single manufacturer to identify if a cheaper model from a specific manufacturer is available that meets your needs. But that makes the answer awfully wordy. So, again, I appreciate that you understand the specificity of the answers that I give are going to be in general related to the specificity of the question. So in general, it's just something to watch for or to expect. You shouldn't need BIOS flashback on an Intel board unless it's a higher end CPU board anyway, because for the most part, Intel keeps changing the socket with every other generation of chip. It's not like the AMD situation where they use the same socket for years. That holds AMD back because they do that. So I would much prefer Intel changes the socket so that we can continue to evolve the technology and the capacity and the capabilities of the machines. And the only way you can do that is by adding more data lanes and traffic lanes. Can't do that when you have a fixed number of pins. And so those BIOS updates get really important on AMD boards because you can have a board that's several years old with a brand new just released processor. And you need to be able to flash it in order to be compatible. But with Intel, for the most part, you don't really have that problem unless you're up into the higher end Socket 2000 series chips, generally speaking. Mondog said this motherboard has an upgraded video output for the display port. It's called EDP. Can you give us your thoughts on this upgraded display port? No, I have never heard of EDP before. You're looking at details that I don't have any interest in. I don't use DisplayPort myself. Some business clients I do use DisplayPort, but they would not see any benefit from having a more enhanced one. But I'm sure you can Google EDP and read all about it. Or maybe somebody in the chat can explain it to you, but it's of no use to me personally. It's not anything I'm interested in or anything I will use. Okay, so we're done. I think we're done with the BIOS flash. I got distracted. I want to go back into the BIOS. Let me do this again. Let me do this again. I want to reset that BIOS back to defaults just to make sure when we do our install later that we're not going to have anything holding us up or preventing us from getting Windows 11 installed. And also I want to verify we have the version. Let's see, F2. I want to make sure we have the right version of BIOS now. Yeah, 7.04 is what it says up here. And we can turn on the expo settings. I can remember how we did that before. I think that was under advanced and under DRAM configuration, expo profile. There we go. That'll run us at 6,000. Then we will load setup. Where's our defaults? Load UEFI defaults. That just reset my RAM again. Did that in a backwards order there, Carrie. CPU chipset. Where was it? Overclocked. Load expo setting, profile 1. Okay. Set it. Then save changes and exit. There we go. Perfect. Zvi Manor says EDP is the screen you installed earlier in the back. Oh, is that what they're calling that little connector soldered onto the motherboard is EDP? Oh, well, I knew it had a name. I just didn't know that's what they called it. Thank you, Zvi. Roy says, are display ports more for gaming or basic commercial use? It's up to the user, whichever they want to use. Okay, so operating system loaded, looks good. Right click and go to system. Make sure everything looks good here. 32 gigs of RAM, yes. 13500, yes. And well, it says 2.5, this will turbo to 4.8. So it's pretty impressive. Windows 11 Pro, all that's good. Again, I'll do a reinstall of this Windows 11. We're not going to keep this one. This probably came from some mini PC or something. And I'm going to change that drive to a 2 terabyte Gen 4 drive when those arrive tomorrow. So for all intents and purposes, we can move forward with getting the motherboard installed into the case. So I'm just waiting for this to shut down. Then I'm going to hit the power switch here. Done with my BIOS flash drive and saved a lot of time not having to install Windows. Everything looks like it's happy. It's whisper quiet. And plug this. I need to take the USB port out of here because that will, oh, I guess that wouldn't get in our way, would it, when we install this because the IO shield's already attached. But that's okay. I'm going to take it out anyway. I want to set this stuff over to the side. And then I need to take these power connectors off here and here. And this out of our way. Let me just put this back over here. And then I need to get, see, this HDMI port needs to go. And I need to set this out of the way momentarily because I need a big space on my desk for the case. I guess that should be well enough out of the way, right? I think so. Okay. All right. We ready for the white version of the NZXT H7 Flow case? I know I am. Same case we just had up. The only difference is its color. There we go. Take that off. Take this side off. Go. That panel will go down first. It's our box of mounting hardware. Front port umbilicals, I'll leave those there for right now. I guess I can put the power supply in. This is the documentation for the case. That goes into the motherboard box with the rest of the documentation for the other hardware. And I was looking for a power supply. There we go. Same power supply as yesterday. And it just so happens I had two of these. This is the NZXT 750 modular power supply. I think these were $135 when I bought them. Let's see here. I'm quickly running out of room on my desk. I really need a bigger bench. David likes the white case. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure how that's going to look with the purple board, but there's one way I know for sure it's going to look, and that is to put it together and take a look at it. Okay. Inside, we have documentation. That's going to go in the motherboard box. Let's see if I can find somewhere. Set this down. And it's packaged like this on the inside with the power supply right here, and then all our cables in this purple bag. So we'll take the purple bag out, set it up here for now. Silica gel. Put that over there. Foam. That over there. And the power supply is in this little fabric bag for some reason. I don't understand. And that's it. That's all that's in that box. We'll throw that over there. That can go with it. This stupid thing can go recycle bin with the rest of that crap. In here, let's see. Modular cables for peripherals, of which we shouldn't need any of these, but I don't need them in the bag. Screws to screw in the power supply. This is going to be our main motherboard power cable and CPU power cable. And we'll hook those up before we put the power supply in this time. It's a CPU power. I need a second CPU power. Is also a normal power cable to plug the power supply in to a wall outlet. Everything else we're not using on this build. Except one other CPU 12-volt EPS cable, which is one of these two. It's this one here. This is for graphics card power. They give you two for graphics card power. Okay, that's the rest of the cables there. So what we want to do to prep this power supply before we install it is I'm going to plug in big 24-pin cable here. It's split into two on the power supply side and just one on the motherboard side. And then on the CPU power, it's the opposite. It's one connector on the power supply and it's split into two on the motherboard side. And those two that are split like that, those go towards the board. This end that says PSU goes towards into the power supply. And the power supply has the little plug socket here labeled labeled CPU. And then we need two of these. So we'll use this one up here on top. And we'll use this one here on the bottom. Those are the only two they give you. Can't have more than that. All the other available sockets for plugging in things like hard drives, solid state drives, fans, RGB, liquid coolers, all that stuff. So you still have 4 regular SATA power plugs, which each probably have 2 or 3 connectors on the cable. And then 2 of the other 4-pin plugs for PCIe, which is your graphics card. And you usually get 2 plugs on each one of those for a total of 4. So that would feed a pretty hefty video card. So in short, this power supply should accommodate almost all video cards, except maybe the latest 4090s, maybe, that you might want to go to 850. But otherwise, this should be. I like how the fan power cable on this model is a white cable for that rear fan. And the rear fan is white too. That's a nice touch. And the front fans are all white. On the black case, that's all black, including the cable. It's very interesting. I like that attention to detail. I'm going to go ahead and slide this in here. We want the fan facing down. Make sure we don't have any stickers under here, do we? No, there's no stickers or anything under here. Fan faces down. Just slide that in place. Got our bag of screws right here we're going to use. And got my driver. Let's go ahead and secure this power supply in position. Just want to get them started here. You go about 1 inch away from this top corner. This hole is here if you were to mount the power supply the other way around, and then we'd go 1 inch away from the bottom corner here. You do one or the other, not both. That's just there to accommodate either power supply orientation. I like the power supply fan to face down. That's the way they intend it. In some cases, you can't do it that way, and in other cases, people have their own personal reasons. I like to do it using a technique I call the right way, but that's not for everybody. Some people don't like doing things the right way. All right, let's see. Just turn these, I'll tighten these by hand. Those are pretty shallow screws to hold that pretty heavy power supply. There we go. That's not going anywhere. And then that's our switch to put it into where the fan won't spin unless it needs to spin. I like that. I don't want the fan spinning all the time if it doesn't need to be. It's just drawing air and dust in. Guess this is now going to be in our way, so set that over here. And we're going to set this case down onto its side. I need to add extra standoff that they give us in that box right there, because this motherboard has 4 screws that go in on the left side of the board. Usually it's only 3. But NZXT does give you a spare standoff for those rare motherboards that do that. So in the box here, we've got all the screws we need, along with the spare standoff and the screws we're going to need to mount the motherboard into the standoffs that are already pre-installed. These are 2 2.5-inch drive bay slots, so if you want to hang 2.5-inch SATA drives off the back of the motherboard tray, you'll use those. And then there are some nylon zip ties included, and that's just junk. And then these just separate. Whoops. Didn't mean to split that one open. Oh, split that one open too. That's all right. Just reuse some of those Ziploc bags I got. And I'm going to move this over here so I can get a closer look at each bag with my glasses on. And let's see, 1, 2, 3. Oh, I'm missing one. Yeah, these bags are all splitting. That is not ideal. So I'm going to use my scissors. There's my 4th screw there. Now this is the standoff I needed, so that bag can go. Done with those. These are screws for adding more case fans, which we are not going to do, but all the spare screws we're not using are going to go into the motherboard box so the customer can have them. And in that little Ziploc bag I had left over, I'll put these 4 hex head screws in there. They give you those for your power supply, but the power supply came with their own, so they'll just go in the motherboard box for who knows when, if they'll ever get used. And the little standoff, it's got to go down here. So I don't use this little standoff tool. In fact, I'll stick that in the bag with the screws I just put away. But that's just a socket tool that enables you to use your Phillips screwdriver instead of a proper socket wrench. I prefer to use the socket wrench myself. So I'm going to grab one of those out of my drawer. Where is it? Should be right up front here. Somehow walked its way to the back. That's it. Don't over tighten it. Strip the standoff right out of the back of the motherboard tray. So you just make them snug, just a little bit beyond snug, a little bit, because you don't want the screws to back out the standoff when you're taking the board out in some future date. And this bag right here, these are 6x32. So I'm told the 32 means there's 32 threads, and they're 5 millimeters. Okay. Let's take a little corner off of this bag. We're going to need a bunch of these. This motherboard has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 mounting holes. And the center mounting hole is just a post that NZXT gives you to keep the motherboard centered in place. So you don't put a screw in the center hole, but you will put one in all the others. And this is a good time to wire tie that wire now that before I mount this in the case, because this would be very difficult to cable manage once we're inside of here. So let me just take a minute right now. That over there. And put my glasses back on here. I also want to cut this little tag off because it bothers me. Get rid of that. Away. And nylon zip tie, probably 2 of those. This is the one cable you definitely want to tidy up before you put your motherboard in the case. Let's see, how do I want to do this? Oh, okay, it's got to go this way. So essentially, I'm just looping the cable over itself here in an attempt to take up that slack. And then use a nylon zip tie to hold that in that position for us. Get that started a little bit, and I lost my grip on the cable, so up a little. Redo this the way I wanted it. Now, don't wait too long. Start cinching this down. Same thing here. The other end of it, and that'll keep it nice and tidy looking. Sometimes I'll grab needle nose pliers to cinch up these nylon zip ties, make sure they're tight. Cut the pigtails off. And now, as you can see, that cable right there looks a lot cleaner. All right, let's see. See here, a little bit. Make some room on my desk. This gets way too tiny for this kind of work, I tell you. So over to me. Pick this up by the heatsink. That's the safest way to carry the board. Lay this down on top, standoffs, but want to bring it in so that the I/O shield faces the back and not the inside of the case. That's better. I'll set that in, kind of approximate where it goes, and then I can adjust it so that that center mounting hole will find the peg sticking up. When it does, it should kind of seat down a little bit, a couple millimeters down, which it's not doing yet. So I wish this bench was about 4 inches shorter. Knew that when I bought it. Knew this was going to be, there it goes. It was going to be difficult given its height. But it looks like all the other standoffs are all in the right place. Everything looks happy. Yeah. And we'll just start putting these motherboard screws in. We've got 9 of them to install. Hmm. Looks like should have been tightening these. I was kind of hopeful it was sitting so well that I wouldn't have to make any adjustments, but I got to back these all off a little bit because the motherboard is a little bit crooked and it isn't lining up as it should be. Just to be on the safe side here. Oh, that was way better. Back that one off because I think I have one more to go. I think that will be 9. Yeah. Try this one more time. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. All done. Let's see what that looks like in there. Okay. The rest of these screws we don't need for this build, but the customer or whoever ends up receiving or buying this machine may need them during a motherboard upgrade or repair or something. So we always hold on to these screws. They are unique to the case. Just fold that bag in half and use my stapler, just like we did yesterday, and we'll staple that closed. And that goes in the motherboard box. We're done with it. Okay, we can do some cabling here. Got one of the 8-pin CPU cables here. One of the cables on. Another one here. Push that one through. And right next to the other one up here. Yeah. I'll just run these cables through the little wire management rack or track they have here that I showed yesterday. Let's see. Still look straight. This is just me trying to make it look pretty back here. Hmm. There it is. Okay. And that rear case fan power cable can go up through there. And it can be connected. Where should we put that? Then our 24-pin motherboard power cable, that will route up through here, which I'm not going to worry about right now. And then we're going to plug that right onto the large 24-pin power socket on the motherboard. So I realize you're not getting much of a view here, and I apologize for that, but I do want to get this done today. We've got a little bit of a path ahead of us today, so because this is a duplicate of yesterday anyway, just be repeating what I've already shown. But you see how NZXT makes that cable management just so easy. Then we've got our front port umbilicals to hook up. And that's all in this little bag. Yeah, even the fan cables are white instead of black. That's really clever. Pretty good. Let's see. This cable is going to go here. Plug in on motherboard right there. That's our set of 3. Then, what else do we have here? This is our audio, front port audio. So that will run all the way along the side. Here. Our front port audio hooked up. Then we have this USB Type-C connector, which they have zip tied to the rest of the front port cables, which I'm not sure why they did. I need to cut that zip tie carefully, not to go through the cable and then end up cutting the cable, because that would be bad. That connector is going to go right up here. Somewhere. There it is. That looks good. Then we have all the fan cables. Oh, our front port power switch, LED. That's all on one connector on an NZXT case, which is nice. And that's just going to plug in right on this top right connector right there. What do I have left? Well, we do have some black cables. Oh, we have the ARGB that plugs into the ARGB section of the board. And then we do have the fan power. So those I'm going to run back over here. Fan power first. We'll plug that in here. And then the ARGB is going to plug in right next to that. So bring that one up Again, being careful, not weaving these cables amongst themselves, because that can make it very difficult to work on in the future. That one's going to go on. So with a little bit of cable management here, we can make this look a lot prettier. It's not too bad, just straight out of the box being put together. I don't think it's too shabby. What do you guys think? That's pretty much done. I think we can fire this bad boy up. Am I forgetting anything? I don't think I am. I never think I am until I realize what I'm forgetting. All right, so back over to our keyboard and mouse. Put that back up there again. Turn that on. Put the keyboard and mouse in. I need power. This goes in the motherboard box. And power. Let's see, HDMI. That here. And let's see. There's my power and my internet wires. All tangled around each other. Okay, plug that in there. That one in there. And we'll flip that switch on. We get some RGB lights here. Hit the power button. Fans are turning. RGBs and RGBing. And if I step around and go to my HDMI input, in time it took me to load, to make that settings change in OBS, it already booted into Windows. Whisper quiet. Paul O'Brien contributes €5. He says, I have to say the purple really stands out in the white case. That's interesting, isn't it? Thank you, Paul. Thanks for the contribution. Let's see. Yeah, you like this better with the white case, do you? Let's see. Got about 315 of you watching live right now. Hope you're having a good Saturday today. It's full screen. I can't see what that little window says. Do you want to one-step install the latest drivers? I'm going to say no to that because we're going to do a reinstall later when I get the 2 terabyte drive in, which should be in sometime tomorrow. So with that being done, the next thing is to hook up that screen. So we're going to shut this down. All this is happy, looks good. Shut down. Back over to OBS. Full screen, camera 1. Okay, now we're cooking with gas. So I'm going to come over here. Let's just pick this all up over here. Right now. And then we'll grab our side panel, which we're going to have to take all the plastic off of that. The side panel is not smoked like the black case, right? Because the black case, they block it all out. So obviously our screen will probably appear brighter through here. Set that down. Okay. We have our ASRock 13.3-inch side panel kit right here. I'm assuming the way that they've got these on here is the way they want you to install them, and they don't have these little flaps coming out the same side like they show on the documentation. Or do they? No, they come out opposite sides, just the way I did it. And that's how they packaged it. It's like this. So I think I did it correctly. That's what I think. And the rest of what's in here is same as before. Documentation. Our cable. Our vertical mounting hardware. These are just cable management tabs that you can stick on to want to clean your cable management up when you're done. And then finally the rubber pads. And that's all that's in the box. That's all she wrote. Okay. Woo, Uncle Carrie is thirsty. Larry Wood made a $20 super chat contribution. Thank you for that, Larry. I think I missed it. Thank you for your continued support of the channel, my friend. I think I got everybody. Did I miss anybody's contribution? Did anybody contribute while I wasn't paying attention? Let me know. So I need to do this facing this way. Sorry, guys, but I need to see. So if this is going to go on this way. Yeah. That's how that's going to go on. Tape measure. We're going to go in the middle, right? That's what we all like, just the middle. Is that adhesive? That's sticky. It ain't coming off. We said about 3.5 inches. It's 3.5. It's 3.5. Okay, so I'm going to peel this one. Yep. That tape. I'm going to very gently set this down because I don't want it to stick. Gentle. I'm just guessing where center is here, so let's see. Ooh. Gotta go a little that way. Kidding me? I barely rested it on there, man. Come on now. Well, you know what? The good news is it really does need to go over. Wow, that is stuck good. Holy cow. I was so gentle with it too. Wow. Wowie wow. Hold on, I think it's coming up. Zoinks. Easy. Just need it moved over a little bit. A half there. Just a smidge that way. It's going to happen. I think we're going to be close enough for government work on this one, folks. I think that's going to be all right. I do wish I could smidge it over just a little bit. Oh, it's coming up. Okay. Just want to go a little bit like that. Very, very minor little correction there. One more check. Three and a half. Half. Works for me. Up for a minute. Press this down. Now, it better be right. This one, we'll go ahead and peel the tape on it. Something like that. I shouldn't measure it again because I'm not moving it. Wherever it is where it's going to stay. I was a little worried that the bottom was angled, but I think if it is, it's very minor. Hope it's not crooked. What? Probably want to take the tape off the front of the screen before I lock this in. That. Yeah. We need, let's see, this stuff goes in the motherboard box. Station goes in the motherboard box. Small end of the cable goes towards the monitor, or into the back of the monitor, I should say. It's got a little closing mechanism here, so we're going to put that in. Delicate small connector, similar to the ribbon connectors you see on laptops. Doesn't want to slide in like the other one did. It's like it's on there now. And then this side, I got to step around here to reach that. This one will go. Let's put that power off. There. Manage this a little bit later because we don't want it to be tightened where it can't loosen up, you know, to have the panel removed. Well, I suppose there's one downside of having it all clear glass like that, is you can really see the tape holding it around the edges. But let's turn it on. See what it looks like. And I'll do something to hide that extra cable back behind the screen. There we go. Hopefully we'll see an ASRock logo on here. I mean, it's a pretty straightforward install. It's pretty easy. Those connectors are a little delicate. You got to be precise with those. You don't want to break them. And let's see. Yeah, there's our desktop. Not sure I'm digging that in white because of the way the tape is so visible on the screen, but all right. And that's the whole build, just like that. A little bit of cable management on this side, but very minor. RGB's all hooked up and working. Fans are all hooked up and working. Everything's happy. And then, of course, I'll figure out how I'm going to wrap that cable so that it can stay loose to take the side panel off, but at the same time, kind of keep it coiled and tucked away so it's back behind the screen and we don't see that black cable. Does anybody have any questions? It's the whole build. Like I said, I'll I'll put those fanxiang 2 terabyte Gen 4 drives in. They should be here tomorrow. And so both the black and the white case, I guess we can put them side by side while we've got them. This one. And there's this one. Twins. This one's on the pedestal, so it looks a little taller. Which one do you like better? Black one or the white one? Michael likes the black one better. I think I like the black one better too. I mean, the white one's not bad. It's not bad. I think the black is more stealthy. Joe likes the white better. Taro likes the black one better. Carlos likes the black one better. Marlena likes the white one better. Viper likes the white. Dr. Bill, the PC guy, likes white. Martin likes white. Tim likes white. David likes white. White is in the lead. Paul O'Brien likes white. Trollington likes the black. Joe Corinder, black. Don Ho likes the black. Bob R likes the black. Zero Core likes the black. Flipper Flop likes the white. Easy Otter likes the white. Paul 1961 likes the black. Dave E likes the black. Luke likes the black. Joe says, I'll take the purple case. Joe's watching a different video than us. Let's see, black from Red Dragon. Karen Rice likes the white. Fred Sunderman likes the black. Gary Tatum likes the black. Some guy over 40 likes the white. Mark Gaines likes the white. Piter likes white. Chris likes the black. Vital Visions likes the black. Scott likes the black better. Tom Grady likes the white. Dustin likes the black. Mr. Rick likes the black. Mike Yazzie likes the black. Dan Nelson and Safari 360 like the white. Les Stevenson likes the white. Jeffrey likes the black. Paul Kitching likes black. Captain Blinsky likes the black. Captain Phantom Nerd, black. Oldman 55, black. Rotiva likes the black. Paul Howe likes the, I think black is in the lead. Nick Poverman says the black looks better with the screen, but the white without the screen would be much better. I don't know. Because there's really nothing to see. If that glass was smoked, I think it'd be a lot better if they smoked the glass on the white one. Well, your card likes the black. Frank Jimmy likes the white without the LCD screen. John Gardner prefers the black one. Gil Garcia likes the white one. Philip Jones likes the white. Gilberto Gonzalez likes both, but the white is his favorite. Jamie McGregor, black with the white side panel. Hey, we could do that. I think this swap the panels. Scott Maxfield likes the black. Phil Hoffman likes black. Heine Woods says, hands down, the black. Ian Carr, black looks better, he says. Marsman likes black. Santa Claus likes the black. Flipper Flop has put a poll you can click on. It looks like black is in the lead. It looks like it's about 2-1 are preferring black to white here. If you're standing up for the white, speak up. Dante Charles likes the black. Diesel Doctor likes the black. Santa Claus likes the black. Eddie Casanova likes the black. This computer just went to sleep on me over here. Some of you are saying the black one with the white side panel. I think that'll look terrible. Should have said something to me before I cabled up the monitors, because it's not, now I have to disconnect the monitors to move those panels. Viper says black tinted glass on the white case. Yeah, that's what I think too. I just can't even see me anymore. Okay, well, let's see. We're at 3:45. That means today's video falls under my 3-hour time limit. And that enabled us to finish up the black build and completely do the white build from scratch. Just save some time not having to do the operating system. And then tomorrow, when the NVMe drives come in, I'll pull the drives out of these and put those fanxiang's 2 terabyte Gen 4 drives with a nice clean install of Windows 11. I will buy product keys from my friends over at VIP CDK Deals. I buy a Windows 10 product key and I use that to activate a Windows 11. Windows 10 Pro product key because it's cheaper. And then I use that product key for the very first and only time to activate Windows 11 Pro. And then that key will stay activated to that motherboard forever. That's you never have to enter the product key again. You don't have to have a Microsoft account. Even if you did a wipe and reinstall, the only time you'd have to buy a new product key is if you tried to reuse that product key and it worked, then you'd lose the ability to have it stay on that board. Or if you change the motherboard. But if you change anything else, the key should stay attached for life to the main board. If you ever change your motherboard, you got to buy a new license key, generally speaking. Generally speaking. And then there's links to discounts for Microsoft Windows and Microsoft Office. Those keys are guaranteed to work. They are 100% legal, 100% legitimate, and guaranteed. Just use the name Carrie as your discount code. You get 30% off. That means like a Windows 10 Pro product key is like $15.90. Andy said, isn't the screen on the side panel to show CPU temps? No, it's to do whatever you want it to do. There's no rules. You don't have to use it for one thing. Use it for whatever come on, you got to have a better imagination than that, Andy. I mean, if that's all you want to do with it is just show temps on it, have at it. It's a full color monitor. I could watch myself on YouTube over there. Flipper Flop says 56% prefer white. So white is in the lead over on Flipper Flop's a poll that he's taking. If you click the link, you can vote in his poll. Marsman said, I purchased from Amazon today. I used your link to buy a TEAMGROUP 2 terabyte NVMe Swift. Can you tell me the difference that would be for the different TEAMGROUP from that page? I'm sorry, I don't know their product line. No idea. Diesel Doctor says hello to chat everywhere, everyone watching. Luke Greeny thinks the poll was fixed. Recount. Yeah, so there you go. There's our 2 builds, identical twins. And one of these has a home and the other doesn't. I'm not shipping these anywhere. These are for local purchase only, because the screen, I'm afraid, would potentially come off in shipping and cause damage. But you can easily build one yourself. I've already shown you how. You've got the parts list. Everything's listed in the video notes below the video. And you can see it was very easy to put it together, and the cable management on these NZXT cases, regardless of what you build. If you buy an NZXT case, and they really should be a sponsor here because I'm really hyping them up, but they make my life easier. They make my job easier with that one connector that has the power switch, power LED, hard drive LED reset switch. Just pop it on. I like that we have the Type C in the case. Not all cases do. Of course, the motherboard has that Type-C header, so we can utilize all the ports. Nothing gets left behind. And then, of course, the ARGB fans are compatible with the ARGB built into the motherboard. So using the motherboard's ASRock's RGB software, we control both the lighting underneath the board and the lighting on these fans is all synchronized together. So stock Intel CPU fan looks good and works well, and it's quiet. Who knew? CPU 13500, it's an i5. It's fast. And it was $209 if you missed that sale. Check back daily to see the next time it goes on sale. If it's done it once, it'll do it again at some point. Could be on sale tomorrow, could be on sale next month. I don't know. Amazon does their Prime Day typically in July, so that's coming up. And then I wanted to remind you over at the Amazon deals page, if I pull that up, there's some specials going on today that I think are pretty good. Let's see what you guys think. Over at amazon.com/shop/Kerry Holzman, I have a store here called Deals Now. Check out some of the prices on this stuff. Western Digital Black, the SN850X, which is my personal favorite 4 terabyte Gen 4 NVMe drive on the market. This is what I use myself. They're normally $399. They're $349 today. Or go to Western Digital directly and shop their site for the Western Digital SN850X, and you can order it directly from Western Digital themselves on sale, $299.99. And if you add it to your cart, I think you get a free flash drive. Yeah, you can get a free SanDisk, because SanDisk is owned by Western Digital. 64 gig flash drive in black or in the silver. Kind of two different designs. This has the little blade that comes out, and this one doesn't have a cap or anything. But either one of these, you can choose which one you want for free, and that comes included in that price of $299 for that 4 terabyte. So a better deal than what's at Amazon. And continuing over to Amazon, that Crucial P3 500 gig drive that I used in today's build, that's $26.99. And then, let's see, whatever that is seems to be sold out. Look at the prices here. 1 terabyte for $37.99. Here's the 4 terabyte. Boy, the price keeps dropping. This was $198. You can now get a 4 terabyte Gen 3 for $189.99. What a bargain. The 2 terabyte drive is only $79.99. The fanxiang, the drive I'm using, the price went up. Now they're $95 for some reason for that S880. You can get an HP branded 4 terabyte NVMe for $249, which doesn't sound like such a good deal when you can get that Western Digital drive for $50 more with a free flash drive. Here's a 2.5-inch TEAMGROUP SATA drive, 4 terabytes, $176. These Scythe coolers very rarely go on sale. The black edition is usually $65.99. It's $58.99 today. The 1 terabyte SanDisk Extreme Pro USB 3.2 flash drive. My favorite flash drive of all my flash drives. I've got about 10 of these. $116.99. They were $170, so $116 is a great price. Here's a 512 gig TEAMGROUP NVMe drive for only $20.99. Are you kidding me? Here's a 2 terabyte silicon power drive for $80. Another TEAMGROUP 2 terabyte drive. This one is $76. Here's an ADATA 2 terabyte drive for $87. Here's a Crucial P3 500 gig Gen 3, $25. That's it. Oh wait, was there more in here? Show more. External SSD USB here for $140. That's 2 terabytes. The Samsung Shield. That's ruggedized. It's a good deal. some mini PCs. Here's a PNY 1 terabyte SATA 3 2.5-inch drive for $34.15. Are you kidding me? The Samsung 990, the latest, is on sale. Right now it's on deal at $161.37. It's one of the fastest 2 terabyte Gen 4 drives, at least in the Samsung family. That doesn't really get any better than the Samsung 990 Pro. Samsung does not make 4 terabyte drives. The TEAMGROUP RAM, you can get 2 sticks of 16 gigs each, 3200 speed. So 32 gigs total for just $58.99. That's the cheapest I've seen it. This is the cheapest I've seen the Samsung 970 EVO Plus. It's 2 terabytes Gen 3. It's only $110.75. You can get a Wi-Fi 6 card that you can plug in and add to your computer for just $28.99 that also has Bluetooth. This is just a little Wi-Fi adapter with an antenna on it. It's super tiny, not very fast, but it'll get you connected. It's only $16.99. And the 4 terabyte Samsung T7 Shield. See, Samsung makes a 4 terabyte 2.5. They just don't make a 4 terabyte NVMe. But look at the price, $219. That's 4 terabytes. And that's ruggedized, and it's USB, so it's great for backups. You know, got a lot of data you can store on there, 4 terabytes. So some really, really good deals going on at Amazon right now. And you'll find this page once again by going to amazon.com/shop/Kerry Holzman, and that link is in the video notes below the video. Some really good deals going on today. Holy cow. So I wanted to make you guys aware of those because they're very, very short deals. Either the products sell out or the price goes back up, usually within a day or two. So if you were thinking about it, I'd say order it. And with everything you buy from Amazon, if you should decide you've changed your mind, you can always return the product within 30 days. Just make sure you return everything, and it's free to return. Great peace of mind. That way you don't have to worry about missing out on a great deal because you couldn't make up your mind. Just get it, and then after you get it, if you have buyer's remorse, send it back. And let's see, are there any other last things here? Joseph Jarstorfer contributes $5. Thank you, Joseph. Yeah, that Western Digital Black SN850X is just $77.99. Don't be afraid to go buy it directly from Western Digital. They're obviously a reputable seller. Donald Goffinitz says, hello from Southern Indiana. I built my computer 3 years ago with your advice. I'm not a gamer, but I have 800 gigs of pictures. It's a 200R case with a Gigabyte X570, a Ryzen 7 3700X with an EVGA 700 watt power supply, a Samsung M.2, and a DVD drive. Yeah, well, that's a rock solid system you got there. Carlos says, great job, Kerry. Hey, thank you, Carlos. Thanks for hanging out with me. And yeah, that's going to bring us right to about 4 o'clock. What perfect timing. So I want to say a shout out and a thank you to all of the members and all my friends in blue, as well as everybody who hung out with us today in the live chat. And I want to say thank you again to all the contributors. So Robert Hooper, Rick Lakes, Thomas Tidwell, Bike Man, Buster, also known as Peter Laycock, John Inglis, Verusian Kalustian, Paul O'Brien, Wilhelm Gordon, Dan Nilsson, Larry Wood, DJ Big Red, David Graham, Paul O'Brien again, and of course, just recently, Joseph Jarsterfer. Thank you guys so much for helping support this channel so I can continue to bring this kind of content here to the world. You guys make that possible with your support. And especially the members, we do a video every Monday at 1 o'clock that's for members only. And those videos are never, ever made public. And it's just a special treat, a benefit of membership that encourages people to help keep me from making commercials for companies. You know, All those big million+ subscribing tech channels, they're all just making big advertisements you're watching. I'm a real tech doing real work, doing real builds, sold to real customers where I have to warranty them in real life, and I have a real business I can lose. So I'm just trying to bring you something different, but at the same time, I am financially hindered by what I can bring you and how often I can bring it to you. So for those who contribute, please know that when you see the contributions coming in, it's because of those people that you got to watch the video for free. The YouTube money is terrible. One of these computers would likely be a whole month's income of YouTube. So income has to come from other places, or I have to just do vlogs or cooking videos or find a cheaper type of video to make. So in the meantime, folks have been very generous lately. And the good news is that leaves us a lot of content on the table. So we've got some networking videos coming up. We've got the Cube build on Friday. Mitch will join us Friday at 1 o'clock. Always live, Friday at 1 o'clock. And I will follow up with that repair that I started. Maybe I'll do a follow-up on that tomorrow, if all goes well. Of course, members only video Monday at 1 o'clock. And hopefully Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I'll have some videos around 1 o'clock, but I'm not sure yet. The only way you're going to know is you got to subscribe and turn notifications on. And if you like videos like this, hit the thumbs up button and let me know. And thank you guys for hanging out, participating in the chat room and being cool, being kind, being friendly. That certainly takes less stress off of me. It certainly makes it more enjoyable for me. So thank you for that. Thank you for that gift of kindness. I will see you all again very, very soon. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Bye for now. Oh, of course, thank you to Camera Girl for the thumbnail for today's video. All right, guys. Bye for now.